Have you ever wondered what would happen if everything that you loved doing was taken away from you in a single second? Yes, me neither, because that's what normal people are supposed to do. But guess what? I watched a video from Nicholas Christie about a year ago where he talked about something called as a dopamine detox, where he stopped doing everything that he enjoyed and gave his brain a rest for 1 week. And this is a story of how my dopamine detox went. What is this dopamine molecule that we are very crazy about? Dopamine is something which is responsible for you getting gratification. Gratification is something which is called as feeling good. Whenever you watch something entertaining, you get a hit of dopamine and you're happy. Whenever you do drugs, your brain dopamine level increases, that makes you feel happy. Anything and everything that makes you happy is somehow related to dopamine. But in the modern day and age, we are programmed for this instant gratification, and that causes oversaturation of dopamine in our brain, and we can no longer derive happiness from simple activities which were very normal back a few years ago, such as walking down the street and just sitting alone doing nothing. So there are two rules to this game. Rule number 1 is no instant gratification whatsoever. Whatever satisfaction you have to derive must come naturally. In simple word, it means no video games, no movies, no TV shows, no chocolates, no YouTube, no Instagram, no nothing. And secondly, the rule number 2 is most important rule of this game, that is to follow rule number 1. So as the rules of the games were set, I began my dopamine detoxing. But before you get there, hi, my name is Anuj. I'm a final year MBBS student at Government Medical College, Nagpur. Thank you so much for clicking on this video, and please consider subscribing if you enjoy watching stuff like this. So here's how it went. It was the 12th of November 2022. I was on my phone scrolling reels on Instagram, as one does. Instead of studying from a prelims which are just 15 days away, as one doesn't. At the night time just before sleeping, I looked up at my mobile phone and saw a screen time of 5 hours and 32 minutes. That number absolutely blew my mind. And the worst part was that for the entire week, that was my average time spent in my phone. Things were certainly out of hand. And that is what actually pushed me over the border to go and try dopamine detoxing for at least a week. Within 5 minutes, my phone was cleared of all the social media apps. Now these apps combined costed me half of my screen time for the last week. Doing this was liberating. I almost felt like a rebel when I took control of my time instead of giving it freely away to the companies behind these apps. So now what? Now it's time to follow rule number 1 thoroughly for at least 1 week. Day 1 Sunday, it was 13th of November, and you know what Sunday means. Every 10 AM on a Sunday I upload a video on the channel, and I absolutely did that. But for that I had to open YouTube. But I opened YouTube as a creator and not as a consumer. I did that from my laptop and not from my phone, which prevented me from scrolling unnecessarily and falling into the trap of one scroll turning into 2 kilometers of scrolling. What are the changes I noticed in the first day? Every time I picked up the phone, my muscle memory immediately took me to the same place where the apps were originally present in my home screen. That was the search bar, and I immediately realized the sign of the addiction. And since all the other apps were not there on my phone, I opened up YouTube Studio quite frequently to reply to all your comments, but I had to control that urge, so I deleted YouTube Studio as well. I felt a weird feeling like time was really passing slowly in the first day without any of these apps, because I was so used to just opening these apps to consume so much content, and without even realizing so much time would be wasted. When I felt like it would be like 4 PM right now, it was originally just 2:30, and suddenly I had all this extra time. And on the 13th November, I did use this extra time all by myself to study surgery, precisely GIT, a system that should be classified as many systems, and finished revising a grand chunk of it. In the evening, since I had more time than usual, my natural habit was to go to my PS4, pick it up and start playing Horizon Forbidden West to kill some machines. But then it came to me. Rule number 1 was standing there right in my face. So instead of using my PS4, I detached it completely from my TV and took it back to my room to plug it into my monitor. And no, that is not what I did. I took it to my room, kept it in my almari permanently, not to touch it till March. Arranged my closet, did some chores around the house, which felt really good. Again, I had so much more time, but I could not use my phone whatsoever. I could only use it for WhatsApp or for calling. And since I have no friends, I did not use WhatsApp or had a call from anybody. So I set an alarm for around 75 minutes, and I started reading the book called as That Night by Nidhi Upadhyay. And I finished the last remaining part of the book just within that time frame. Reading books was not instant gratification, it was delayed gratification, because some effort went into doing that. Day 2 was here, Monday was here. It was the 14th of November, and I immediately realized that this challenge is going to fail today, because I would not last one single minute, because it was the day of my birthday, and as you grow older, you get less and less excited for your birthday, and I turned 22. So naturally, I received many calls from my relatives, from my friends, and a lot of chocolates and hugs, and so many things that actually made me really happy. Dopamine levels in my brain were peaking after 1 day of dopamine fasting. I did open Instagram for 10-15 minutes to reply to a lot of you guys who had posted stories for me and who had replied to me, and I tried to reply to as many of you as possible. In the evening, I realized that rule number 1 was actually a joke at this point, because birthdays are supposed to be fun. As you can see, my screen time again went more than 5 hours, but more than 3 hours was just calling, replying, and shooting things using the camera app of the phone. Well, that's what we are supposed to do on your birthday, and it was really fun. Day 3 Tuesday was here, 15th of November was here. I was extremely motivated related, and I saw this opportunity to complete 2 units of medicine, namely CVS and renal, in a single day. The impulsive behavior that I'd seen on Sunday was no longer there. My fingers were no longer searching for the apps, and all the time that I'd spent on my phone, I was utilizing this to read a lot of books. I denied myself any sweets except for a cold coffee that I bought when I went to the cafe near my house. And in that cafe, I was actually studying operative surgery. The biggest change that I noticed on day 3 was, since my screen time was low and I was not wasting a lot of time and studying quite a lot, I was feeling really great about myself and feeling like I was actually going ahead in my life, which made me happy and satisfied. This was the way dopamine was actually supposed to be released in our brain through delayed gratification, by doing the things that actually take a lot of effort and finally getting the reward in the end. Another thing was my sleep quality improved drastically, since I was no longer being affected by the blue light at the night, where I usually used to sleep after scrolling Instagram for like 30-40 minutes. I was reading books, and that caused my sleep cycle to change and I was falling asleep more peacefully. In fact, even my waking up was affected, because it usually took me 3 to 4 alarms to wake up. Now I used to wake up before the alarm itself because I had such good refreshing sleep. So if you're facing any problems with sleep, try to use this dopamine detox method and reduce the blue light, especially before going to sleep. It will change your life dramatically. I would be lying if I said I did not miss social media, but I only missed it severely when I was in the washroom. I started a new book, To Sleep in the Sea of Stars, and I completed around 100 pages of it on day 3. Day 4 was here. I woke up and I went to have some chai with my friend Abhijit. My concentration in my studies was better than usual, and I did not even pick up my phone for any reason. I was having a good time in general, and I picked up 2 of the hobbies which I felt like I had not done in a long time. And by long time, I meant over a week. One was playing my guitar, because for some reason I had just stopped it for 1 week. So I picked it up again, and I spent quite a lot of time just enjoying playing some of the beautiful songs that I know. And secondly, I restarted my habit of journaling every day. And even if it was just for 5 minutes, I made sure that I wrote down at least something in my journal. And one of the questions that I get frequently asked is, how do you take notes on your iPad, as well as how do you read PDFs on your iPad? There are a lot of apps which can do this, but one app which stands out among the rest is Wondershare PDF Element. See, you can download it from the App Store. Just import the PDF into the app and start annotating. It's that easy. So let's say that PDF is of some important book that you can't afford. You just download the PDF, import it, and start using it like it was a book. Inside every document, you can write, draw, annotate, mark up, and add text to your document. That includes assigning a document as well, which is one thing I certainly have to do almost every other day. The best part about PDF Element, however, is that if you were a paper-based student before, you can import all of your notes into PDF Element by scanning them directly on the app. And now those notes are directly converted into digital copies, which you can mark up, sign, annotate, and even publish online. Making notes like this is a very fun task, and it will help you retain information more than traditional note-taking or just reading the book. Here's a suggestion. Download Wondershare PDF Element using the link in the description, because I'm sure it will help you out, and this way you can also support the channel. Thanks a lot to Wondershare for sponsoring this segment, and now back to the main video. I missed my PS4 quite a lot because it was a really refreshing activity to play Horizon Forbidden West after a hard session of studying. But sometimes holding on does more damage than letting go, so it was not really something which I should feel bad about. In general, the last few days of this challenge were not as significant as one would think. I did feel a bit about missing out on everything that is going on, but I looked near me and I saw my friends all in my house, and we were all having a good time. I feel Instagram is a place where people put on masks and show how perfect their lives can be, how beautiful their current lives are, to post aesthetic photos in poses which makes absolutely zero sense, and following trends which actually have no significant impact on the world. It was intoxicating at times, and slowly Instagram had lost that feeling of being an app where you are seeing only the content which you follow, to becoming an app in which maximum content is from the people you don't actually follow. It had lost all of its charm and became just another generic app. Lastly, I appreciated nature a lot more, and I enjoyed flying my drone. Day 5, Thursday, gynecology, the study of the female reproductive system. That's what I did, boys. I studied the female reproductive systems, and we did half of gynae in the 2 hours. Abhijit taught us that. And the best part is, even right now, like 10 days have passed since I did that, I remember a lot of it. So naturally, my retention capacity was also increasing, because I was overall feeling much more positive, getting good sleep, studying a lot. So yeah. Day 6, Friday, it was the same stuff, different day. Gynae was done mostly thanks to Abhijit, and I had another cold coffee. Day 7 had come, challenge had ended, and I was left with a feeling of genuine happiness that it was finally over, so that I could reinstall the apps on my phone and spend just a little amount of time every day scrolling through them. So what are the overall things which I learned from this experiment? First of all, it all felt very positive, and I felt good and liberated after deleting all the apps. It felt like I had taken back control of my time, which was initially just wasting away like anything. Second, I found found my passions again. That is, I played my guitar a lot and I journaled a lot, which was so amazing. Third of all, I never regretted this decision of dopamine detox, and I think that you should absolutely give it a try. Fourth, I spent naturally more time with my friends and family, and that was the way I derived my happiness. That was very natural and it made me closer to my friends. Fifth, I was overall productive much more and got more stuff done. There is so much more to do yet, but I got so much done in 1 week that it made me really happy looking back that I'd completed surgery, a part of medicine, gynecology, all in just 1 week. And lastly, I gave all this time to reading a lot more books other than academics, which was again a sense of delayed gratification, picking up the old habit of reading the book. I was actually doing a challenge of reading 2 books a week, a video on that coming next Sunday. Anyways, that was my story of dopamine detoxing. I really hope that you enjoyed watching this video, and if you did, please make sure to hit the thumbs up button and let me know that it was worth it. Dopamine detox के बाद बोलना तो सही नहीं रहेगा, Instagram पे follow कर लो, but if you do find it interesting over there, देख लो Instagram पे भी 1-2 रील डाल देता हूँ कभी-कभी. Thank you so much for watching. It's your boy Anuj, and please subscribe if you haven't already. You know, making these videos takes up a lot of time, effort and energy, and sometimes it takes up a lot of deleting your apps on your phone. And I'll see you next Sunday at 10 a.m.